Hello friends, praise be Jesus Christ. I know it has been a very long time since I have been active on my YouTube. I was really enjoying doing those vlogs for quite a while, but then just life got busy, the baby got a bit older, and it is something that I do intend on getting back to, hopefully in the very near future. But for now, just like doing mini vlogs, lots of Instagram focused stuff. But I'm on here today to talk to you about the divine office. As we dive into the new year, it can be a perfect time to take on new prayers, learning new things about the faith, and I thought it would be a great time just to chat briefly about the divine office with you guys, what exactly it is, some resources for it, and just the basics. I want to go through night prayer specifically with you guys because it is the simplest one, the shortest one, to get you guys started. So let's dive right in. So I just want to start with going through a couple quotes from the Catechism of the Catholic Church. It talks about it from number 1174 forward for a few paragraphs, and they just kind of go into the importance of it and what exactly it theologically is. One of the things that struck me most deeply from this section is when it talks about how this celebration of the Liturgy of the Hours is faithful to the apostolic exhortations to pray constantly. It is so devised that the whole course of the day and night is made holy by the praise of God. And we have the Liturgy of the Hours as the public prayer of the church, the prayer that priests, nuns, monks, sisters, brothers are all praying throughout the day and just sanctifying the whole day. And it is prayed worldwide. So it is just this endless flow of prayer around the globe as all these people are entering into praying it. And we get to become part of that when we join in praying the divine office. This is very striking. It talks about how the Liturgy of the Hours is, quote, truly the voice of the bride herself addressed to the bridegroom. This is the prayer of the church, the bride of Christ, as we come before the bridegroom and pray these beautiful psalms. It's mostly composed of psalms and readings, and just such a beautiful and profound thing to enter into with Christ. Another quote that struck me from here is when it talks about how we as a lay people should be entering into the Liturgy of the Hours as much as possible. It says here, priests, of course, and religious, and it says all the faithful as much as possible. And this is something that, I didn't know about the divine office before I started more deeply discerning religious life, and was like, oh my goodness, this is what they're always chanting in the backgrounds in every convent scene on movies and stuff. So it was just beautiful to learn about it, but also kind of sad to realize not only my own ignorance of the divine office, but also just the general lack of knowledge about it among Catholics at large. So it has just been so beautiful to get to learn about it, learn how to pray it from the nuns themselves, and then be able to share that knowledge with all of you. So that is what I wanted to share from the Catechism of the Catholic Church. Another great resource on learning about the spiritual and practical aspects of it is this book. It's called A Layman's Guide to the Liturgy of the Hours by Father Timothy Gallagher. It's published by EWTN. Excellent book, gives you a lot of just practical information, but also the symbolism of it, and it is a fairly easy read, just a rundown of the divine office. So highly recommend this. He goes in here into, is the divine office a prayer for the family? Because again, we hear about it being prayed by priests, prayed by religious, not so much by lay people and families. So he includes this quote from Pope Paul VI, who wrote, "The family is rightly numbered among the groups in which the divine office can suitably be celebrated in community. It is fitting that the family, as a domestic sanctuary of the church, should not only offer prayers to God in common, but also, according to circumstances, should recite parts of the Liturgy of the Hours in order to be more intimately linked with the church. How beautiful is that? So bringing this divine office, praying of it, into your home, you are joining yourselves to the liturgical prayer of the church and just really diving into all the richness of your home being a domestic church. So now that I've kind of gone through the importance of it, let's talk about what all is involved in it. So the divine office is composed, as I said, primarily of psalms. It's on a cycle so that over the course of 4 weeks, you pray all of the psalms. Morning and evening prayer are on a 4-week cycle, but night prayer is on a 1-week cycle. And that is why I want to kind of dive into that one with you. It can be a bit intimidating to start praying the divine office because it can seem like so much going on, but once you catch the rundown and the rhythm of it, it is easy to go from there and just kind of fall into, just the general rhythm of praying the divine office. So, morning and evening prayer have 3 psalms, a scripture reading, a gospel canticle, and intercessions. So, morning and evening prayer take about 20 minutes. Night prayer, however, is one of the shorter parts of the divine office, and it only has like 1 or 2 psalms, two psalms if the psalms are short, and 1 if it's just a regular length psalm. And then you have a short reading, you have a short gospel canticle, and just the closing with the antiphon of Mary and everything. So it is very short, takes about 10 minutes, 15 minutes tops. And it's just a beautiful way to end your day in union with the church. It is on a 1-week cycle. So every Sunday you're going to be praying the same thing. Every Monday you're going to be praying the same thing. And it's just easy to pick up because of that repetition. It is actually one of the hours of the divine office that I really want to emphasize in my home life with my children because of the constant repetition of those psalms. They'll just be like ingrained in their memories for their whole lives. So I just think that's so beautiful. So let me do a little rundown with you using my book. Now, a little side note on the Divine Office books. They are about to put out a new edition of it, so I would not recommend investing in a physical copy right now unless you can find it cheap, used somewhere, then go ahead and get it. But I wouldn't recommend paying full price for your own copy. I will put a link in the description below so that you can access the Divine Office online. For now, it's a great option and a lot less overwhelming when everything is just kind of laid out for you. So I will put that below so that you guys can use that. And again, like if you're able to find it used, but I would not recommend, it can be a bit of an investment. So I would not recommend getting a set until they put out the new edition. So, all right, let me show you the book so that we can kind of walk through it together and I will describe what I'm showing you. So we're going to use Monday as the example for night prayer here. It begins with a hymn, but that will be in your rundown when you're using the website or the app that I will link below. Then you get into the actual psalmody part of it. Again, you just have 1 psalm a day unless it's a super short psalm, and then it'll give you 2. But for Monday, you have Psalm 86, which is long enough that you just get 1. And then after the psalm, you have a short reading. This reading changes each day of the week, but it's always like just a couple sentences, very short and sweet. Followed by this responsory. The responsory will be the same for night prayer every day of the week. And then you go into the gospel canticle, which is this prayer that Simeon prayed after seeing Jesus when Mary and Joseph brought him to the temple for the presentation. Just a way of wrapping up the day and joining ourselves to Simeon in the ways that we have seen God manifested in our day and giving gratitude for that. But the antiphon, again, this part is the same every day. After that, you have a concluding prayer, which is just a little night prayer, again, super short. And then you end with the antiphon of the Blessed Virgin Mary, just closing with a prayer to Our Lady, entrusting yourself to her care for the night. And that would be during ordinary time, the Hail Holy Queen or Salve Regina, and there's other ones depending on what liturgical season you're in. And that is it. I hope this video is helpful for you in just learning more about what the Divine Office is, why it is important for us to consider involving in our prayer life as lay people, and also just familiarizing you with it a little bit so that it feels less intimidating to start a new form of prayer. If you have any questions, put them down in the comment section. I'm happy to help with any questions you may have. And I look forward to praying in spirit with you guys as we enter into this beautiful liturgical prayer of the church.